The King. On the night of April 19th, the new king slept at Doncaster. The next day he would ride through Bawtry and Scrooby. Near Bawtry, at the border of Nottingham, the sheriff and Mr. Brewster and many other persons would meet him. But William decided not to go. Everyone would be waiting there, and a boy would never have a chance to see what was going on. Instead, William made up his mind to wait by the roadside near the manor house near Scrooby where the Brewsters lived. It was a long wait. He wondered whether the king was coming at all. At last he saw the dust kicked up by many horses. The road was only wide enough for 2 horses to go together. The first pair stopped right where William was standing. Soon many others crowded in behind. "What place is this?" one of the men said. He seemed an ordinary sort of man. He had small beady eyes and a bit of beard that looked as if moths had chewed at it. "The Archbishop of York's Manor, your Majesty," the other man said. So this was the king. This was the ruler of all England. William felt his breath stop. He wondered whether it was right for him to look at the king. Then the king said, "Have we a place of our own nearby?" "No, your Majesty." William guessed this must be the sheriff of Nottingham. He was dressed in a blue jacket and wore a red cape over it. The big silver chain of his office hung around his neck. "Is not Sherwood Forest nearby?" the king went on. "Yes, your Majesty." "And the king has no place to hunt from, while the archbishop has? We'll see to that. Lennox, Argyle, Murray, let us ride in and view the place." The king turned his horse and headed for the gate of Scrooby Manor. The long line of riders followed him. "Whoever has charge here, let him attend us," he called over his shoulder. The sheriff rode back down the long line of horses looking for Mr. Brewster. He was somewhere among the men who had come to attend the king. Meanwhile William slipped through the gate and into the courtyard with the crowd. In a moment he was close to the king again. When King James dismounted from his horse, 2 men came to help him. As long as he stayed on his feet, they were at his side to support him. William wasn't sure whether this was just because he was king or because he really couldn't walk by himself. When he asked Mr. Brewster later, he learned that the king had weak legs and couldn't stand without help. Good place, too good for a bishop," he heard the king say. It was hard to understand what he was saying, though, because he spoke with such a strange accent. Then Mr. Brewster came up and knelt until the king made him a sign to rise. "When did the archbishop come here last?" the king asked. "I don't know, your Majesty," Mr. Brewster told him. "Not know? You have charge here, haven't you?" the king demanded. "Yes, your Majesty, but he has not come here in my time." The king looked at Mr. Brewster thoughtfully. "You don't speak like a country fellow. You've been to a university, perhaps. Cambridge?" "Yes, your Majesty." The king wagged his head since he was so pleased with himself. Then he frowned. "Dangerous lot, Cambridge men. Always wanting to change things. How did you come into this place?" What if the king with his question should find out about Mr. Brewster's connection with Queen Mary's death? But Brewster knew how to answer him. "My father had it before me," he said. Then the king began to ask about the farm, how much money it made for the archbishop. Soon he had forgotten all about Brewster. Then in a few minutes he was in a hurry to go. William ran out to the far end of the drawbridge so that he could see the king's ride off down the road. King James looked much more of a man on a horse than off, William noted. He wondered whether it was safe to think such thoughts. Then, as the king came to the end of the drawbridge, his horse turned in the direction he had come. The king pulled back on his reins and the horse reared. To keep himself from being pushed into the ditch, William threw up his hand. By accident he touched the king. The king struck at William with his riding whip. "Take your hands off me, you dirty urchin," he shouted. "Have you no respect for your king?" William looked for a moment into the beady eyes, the face without light or love. Then the king was gone. The only way to judge a man, William decided, was by his acts, not by his place in the world. "Come inside, William." Mr. Brewster was standing beside him on the drawbridge. The horses were far down the road, only their dust was sifting back. Mr. Brewster put a hand on the boy's shoulder. "Well, William," he said, "what do you think of the king? I hope I never see him again." "Kings are men too, you see," Mr. Brewster said. "Perhaps we expect too much of them. We expect them to be better than ours." "He didn't have to hit me," William said. "I wasn't doing anything." "You were standing up. You were in his way," Mr. Brewster said. "That's enough for a king. Come into the house, William. We'll have a bite to eat before you go home." While they sat at the table, Mr. Brewster asked William many questions about himself. He asked him about school. Soon William was telling him about Aunt Alice and how she was always taking Tom's side. He talked about his grandfather and about what it meant to be a yeoman. He told Mr. Brewster about his sheep and he told him about school. Then he told him about the thing he had tried not to think of, even to himself. "Uncle Robert says I must stop school next month," he said. "He says I've already had more than is good for me. But I wish I could go to a university like you. I wish I could go to Cambridge, too." Mr. Brewster rubbed his chin thoughtfully. "I'd like to help you go there, William," he said. "But from what you've told me, it's clear your aunt and uncle would never allow it. Until you're 21, you'll have to do as they say. The sad thing is that no one goes to the university when he's that old." He paused for a moment and looked out the window thoughtfully. "There's one thing I can do, though," he went on. "I'll gladly help you with your studies just the way a tutor at Cambridge would. You have a good mind and an earnest one. We don't know yet for what purpose God gave it to you, but let us make it ready for whatever work he gives you."